Okay, this video will show you how to use the science journal database called Gale OneFile Science. In order to access it, the first place you need to go is to the district website, eastonsd.org, and then click on schools, and then go down to the high school. From the high school, you want to hover over academics and then just click on the library. That will bring you into the library database page where all the databases I subscribe to live. So the database you want is under science research here, and you want to go to Gale OneFile Science. Okay, so when you're here, I think the best thing to do is to go right into the advanced search feature here. The nice thing about that is it gives you a little bit more flexibility in how you're going to search. Unfortunately, with databases, it's not like Google. You can't put in a big search term, one big phrase. You kind of have to break your topic up and put it on each line. So if you're doing research on how salinity affects plant growth, you'll want to put salinity on one line and plant growth on the next. So let's just take a look at that actually. So we'll take a look at salinity and we'll type plant growth in. If you're doing a project and you're writing a paper about something and you're not doing a science fair project, you can just put the overall term. I can give you an example, and you have to be really careful with your search terms. You really got to play around with different ideas. For example, I had a student that was looking at ginger and how the chemistry behind ginger affects nausea and things like that. And she just couldn't find anything on the term ginger. So we looked up the scientific term, and lo and behold, we found tons of information about ginger. So you have to kind of critically think it out and mess around with your keyword terms here. Okay, so you want to make sure that your documents are full text, and then you can hit search. You want to make sure you get full text documents. So I want to just show you what's on the page here. When you do a search, the first thing that's going to come up are academic journals. That's what you want. And here are your results. The one thing I want to make you aware of, don't flip out when you see a lot of these really technical articles. They are very science driven. They are the most latest and greatest information that's out there in the field. But a lot of times these terms, if let's say you Googled this term here, I bet it means something very simple, but of course they're using the scientific terminology. So a lot of times with your research, you do not need to know and understand each article in its entirety. You just need to be able to pull a couple of things out to get some information. So let's just click on an article. And what's nice too is that you can see that your search terms will show up in red here. Okay, it's just a nice way to see. And this is a really short article, as we can see here. But a couple things, we don't really need to look at the article. I just need to show you a couple things on the page. The source citation is down at the bottom. That means that it is cited for you in MLA format, okay? When you find articles that you want to use, you are going to ship them over to your Google Drive, okay? With that, you send it to your Google Drive and it turns into a Google Doc, and your citation will go with you, okay? If you're not getting what you want, or you need to narrow your search down, you can go back to your results and you can go over here and say search within. And what it does is it'll do a search. So if you want to add another term, like let's put in soil, and we want to include the term soil, and I hit submit, it will now bring us to 133 academic journals. So it will narrow it down for you. And while it didn't narrow it down all that much, and obviously you're not going to look through 133 academic journals, it did get less results and maybe a little bit more specifically to what you're looking for. I do want to just point out there are also magazine articles. And when I click on that, make sure you check out that link too as well, see what's there. When I think of magazines, I sort of think of like Science News and Scientific American, but these are also journals as well. And if I click on this article, I mean, just even in the beginning, in the abstract, I get information, 2 lines right here that I could probably use in my writing for my project or my paper, where they're just talking about how plant growth and salinity affect um, the height of a plant, the branches, and the canopy volume of a plant. Right here, they talk about that. Boom, can use that right for your paper. The other thing I want to you to be aware that there are also some related subject terms that you can use if you're trying to play around with your keywords. So when you're in an article, they'll oftentimes give you these different terminology. This article only has one, but I've seen articles that have like 5 or 6 different words that you could use to find similar articles. So please, if you have any questions or are getting stuck in your research, make sure that you shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to help you. My email will be down below in the presentation.